Kalala Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Kadash. Tabana said the apostles at Great Millstone. Salute to you, brothers, teaching the word in sincerity and in truth. This is going to be a quick lesson here. But right, 2-3 weeks ago, we did a special statues, and I think they're supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, like life-size statues of men in the Middle Ages. Knights. There's information on there. We can go back to that spot and get the information up on it. Brothers were reading it, but we did a special on the Dark Ages anyway. And which is what this lesson centered around. But you had this individual that come up. It's Edomite, and he didn't look like a kind of bummy Edomite. He kind of looked like I wouldn't say he wasn't no super top dude, but he basically didn't look like one of these, booze drinking, Edomites. But so he knew a few stuff. Now that's what I'm gonna play it right now, and build on that, because if someone like this can know this sort of stuff, you're damn sure that these elites know what's going on out here. But we was going into how Jake ruled in the Middle Ages, and he was listening, and yet instead of actually scoffing, he added on to the point of what we were saying. We was going all into that about us being, ruling in medieval Europe. Okay, so it's not just medieval. The Byzantine Empire, even the Holy Roman Empire, as opposed to the pagan Roman Empire. All right, and stuff like that. So anyway, let's play it and let's build on that.
So-called Negroes, Latinos.
Right. The Hamites that had us in slavery under the Egyptians. Yeah, those are them Hamites.
Yeah. The Egyptians had the Israelites with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Puerto Rican.
Right.
Hamites had them in slavery. Sudanese, told that they had, and there's icons of that. There's icons of dark-skinned Hamites with having in captivity dark-skinned Israelites. So they're two different lines.
Reset. Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Are you going to say something, man?
Don't forget Black Madonna.
See, you know something, man. You see.
No, that's pretty much what he said. And we started going into the Egyptians, which goes into another point. But he kind of even went into he went off, but then he about some Egyptians, but then he kind of jumped on track because he was talking about but anyway, let me stick to this point here. So we mentioned the Black Madonna, right? And like I said, we was at these, and when you look at these knight statues in the back, you can see that you got the tall, it's pretty tall, the river Nepash in the back, right? Now that statue, if it's not on the podiums, it pretty much will be like around his size, bigger than him, and wider. Now this brother is pretty, he's was he? He's well over 6'7". He's quite a big dude. So, Jake were big, especially when you go to the ancient world. And carrying the armor on the information on there, it tells you that the armor was heavy ass armor, and they had to carry that. So, and they were fighting for days, marching in this stuff. So this was men were strong about it. Men were warriors, and we can get scriptures on that. What I'm gonna do is you heard what he said, so this is gonna be the point of the lesson. Let me play it one more time.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Are you gonna say something, man?
Don't forget Black Madonna.
See, you know something.
So you heard him. He said, "Don't forget Black Madonna." Now let's go and look at what Black Madonna is, right? And I got an icon for it as well. So you type in Black Madonna. It says, let's read it. It says the term Black Madonna or Black Virgin tends to refer to statues or paintings in Western Christendom of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which we know that, we don't worship Virgin Mary. You're not supposed to do that. That's not in the scriptures, but that's what Jake would do in the Middle Ages. But the main point, because they were going off in the Middle Ages, but what the main point is the characters of the scriptures, and the people in the Middle Ages were black, so-called Negroes, were dark-skinned people. That's why, the icons look like that. Now there's pictures of all in Europe, in those Orthodox churches and different things like that. We can get images of that. They're all bowing down to these statues of dark skinned figures. And we even, if you watch the clips from the clip earlier, the brother was talking about Sardinia. The flag of that is Israelites, so-called Negro. So let's read on. But I said Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus, which I got a scripture on this. The only way that you don't go through Mary. First of all, she wasn't the word virgin meant young woman. I think it'll be Iwalama, which is young woman. You go to the prophecy in Isaiah. But Joseph and Mary did have sex, and there's nowhere in the Bible where it tells you to worship a woman. Okay, and it says both figures are depicted as black. So it tells you right there, the Black Madonna can be found in Catholic and Orthodox countries all over Europe, and it ain't just this one, but he knows something in order for him to mention this. All right, it says the paintings are usually icons which are Byzantine in origin or style, some of which were produced in the 13th or 14th century Italy, and they go before that. These icons and stuff go before that. You got, even when you go back to the catacombs, but obviously, when you go to this Virgin Mary stuff is pagan new stuff that come from the rising of the scriptures getting merged with the paganism, where you get this Christianity. Okay, other examples from the Middle East, Caucasus, Africa, mainly Egypt and Ethiopia, are even older. Statues are often made of wood, but occasionally made of stone, painted and up to 75 centimeters tall. They fall in two main groups: freestanding, upright figures, or seated figures on a throne. There are about 400 to 500 Black Madonnas in Europe, depending on how they are classified. So why is there so much of them? It says these are at least 180 Vegas, no less, if I'm saying it right, in southern France alone. And there are hundreds of non-medieval copies as well. Some are in museums, but most are in churches or shrines and are venerated by believers. Some are associated with miracles and attract substantial numbers of pilgrims. Right? Now check this. Black Madonnas come in different forms, and there's speculations behind the reason for the dark hue of each individual icon or statue. The dark hue is the dark skin, the dark tone. So hue represents color, right? Vary greatly and not without controversy. He says, well, it's controversy because Edomites are racist. What is there to be controversial about? Israelites were in these regions, and we ruled, and we painted this stuff, and you had an Edomite come out and admit that. He added to the point, because if you go before what we was talking about, all of that, the whole lesson, and he came up and he was listening for a bit, and then he added, he said, yeah, well, don't forget the Black Madonnas. Says there are some Madonnas originally black or brown when they were made. Others have simply turned darker due to factors like aging or candle smoke, which is absolute rubbish. And guess what? These devils, scoffers and devils, are gonna everything that's red, they're gonna home in on that. Oh well, they're gonna act like. Even this article didn't say that. It said others have simply turned darker due to factors like aging or candle smoke. It didn't say all. But they're gonna use that and run with it, and act like every icon turned dark because of candle smoke. So even your own logic of trying to cut us, you're cutting yourself, because the information didn't say every icon that's dark is a result of candle smoke. It just said some, which we know is bullshit anyway. But even that logic doesn't even work if you try to use that. You can't even use your own life. So they got another speculation calls for the dark skin depiction. So it's dark skinned, but they've got to come up with all types of different ways to, well, why is it dark skinned? Or maybe it's candle smoke, but they're admitting it's dark skinned. So it's due to pre-Christian deities being re-envisioned as the Madonna and child, which they're right with that, because really this pagan woman and child goes back to paganism being infused in the scriptures. Like you got Easter, you got Samirisis, you got all this paganism. And you have to make note of that, so people don't bug out, because that's a big thing. These idols, John 17 and John 20 and 31. But these are written that ye might believe that Yahweh Shai is the Messiah, Mashiach, the Son of Yahweh, and that believing ye might have life through his name. So those are the only spirits that we worship, is the Most High and the Son. There's nowhere in there where it says, oh yeah, because Mary. You don't say that. You don't say that. So obviously that was paganism. Right? 1 John 3 and 23. And this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai, and love one another as he gave us commandment. So the scriptures, all throughout the scriptures, is telling you to worship Yahweh Shai, not worship Virgin Mary. Which, like I said, it goes back to Samirisis, it goes back to paganism. We're going to do some more shows on that, exposing paganism, man, because you had Vocab Malone sitting up there justifying Easter when you clearly look it up. Even in the Blue Letter, it doesn't say Easter. It says a Passover. They're trying to act like the Easter is their form of Passover. Rubbish. When Easter, everyone's celebrating it, and all these eggs, and he's going to try and justify the Easter eggs and the bunnies and all that. That's got nothing to do with the Passover. So you're a warlock, man. And when he does them shows, the sorcery that they play on is what gets people. Because he was trying to say, yeah, he even said it, yeah, the Easter, the word really is the Passover. So he's making you worship modern day Easter and paganism. Do you see the reverse psychology and the sliveriness of that kind of stuff? Well, because it was really Passover, then what they're doing today, calling it Easter, that's linked with the Passover. No, it's not. The Christian holiday they're doing today is paganism. You show me in the Passover back then where there was any Easter eggs and rabbits involved, because he tried to say, well, they're linking it with Samirisis. No, he mentioned this other deity and said there was no eggs with that deity. So he's trying to justify the eggs and the bunnies. He's stripping the real original Passover out the way and then putting in the pagan one, which I'm going to do a show on that. How can you do that, man? Heyman, Malone, a lot of these people are demons, man. 1 John 5 and 13, these things have I written unto you, that ye believe on the name of the Son of Yahweh, that ye may know that ye have eternal life, and that ye may believe on the name of the Son of Yahweh. All right? So that's how you get through. It's the small Zionist son, not the Black Madonna. Just to let you know that, just to shed light on that. Anyway, this is another icon here. It says medieval monastery of the Virgin Mary of Mavritisa, Greece. The tree of Jesse. The tree of Jesse refers to a passage in the biblical book of Isaiah, which describes metaphorically the descent of the Messiah from Jesse of Bethlehem through his son, King David. So obviously in the Middle Ages, like I said, these jakes were going off, but they would look at this icon. So it wasn't just a Black Madonna. They had there was paganism mixed in with the scriptures, with the Christianity, which these jakes were going off into. They believed in the scriptures, but they were going off. Paganism was all introduced into that. But you can see who they were. They were Israelites, and that's why they were painting themselves like that. The Byzantine Empire, so-called Negroes, the medieval kings and knights, so-called Negroes, all those, all of that. Russia, so-called Negroes. his empires that you can name. So, you know, there you have it. Now, if you look at this, you can clearly see what we're talking about here. All right. So there you have it. You know, so it wasn't just your Black Madonna, but all these links in, because this is you know, supposed to be a line of you know, the King David's, you know, and you know, obviously, you know, you can see what they look like. They don't look like Edomites. They got the so-called Negroes with afros. Israelites, man, in robes and garments, because that's the ancient way. You know what I'm gonna do here? Yes, what we're gonna do here is so I was mentioning this is a scripture here, Ezekiel 28:3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. You know, Esau's like on a level with stuff out here. It's technology. You know, he can do a lot of stuff, man. You know, the way he analyzes the human body and his tech, he can look inside the human body if he damn wants. You know, and so you mean to tell me they don't know that we ruled in Europe? When all over Europe right now, there's nothing but icons all over there, whether it be pagan or not, but it was Israelites that were depicting the prophets. They were depicting the prophets. They were depicting the scriptures. That's what these things are. Now, obviously, they started worshiping Mary, but, you know, we know that Mary, what her true lane was. It wasn't what, you know, because Jake would do stuff like that, man. But anyway, you know, you're telling me Esau or Edom don't know this. The top elites, they got archaeologists, scholars. They're the ones that actually were the ones destroying these images. The Borgias, you know, the Renaissance period, the Turks, all of these kind of groups, man. Conquistadors and all that. Now, when you go to it, you check it out, man. It's evident that evident that if you can have someone just come up to the camp and say something like that, but if he can say something like that, that shows you that people out there know. And like those people out there in Europe, I remember we was at the camp one time and one dude come up. We had an icon sign. He said, "Yeah, they're from my country. Don't know if it was in Romania, Bulgaria, or somewhere like that." You got so-called in Europe. You go mainland Europe, because in Britain, you know, they're not really doing that. Them icons, you don't see them for shit. But in mainland Europe, they're more out in the open. Or I just gotta let brothers know that as well. You know, any brothers that are over in England, you know that you don't. It's like America, you don't see no icons, man, like that. But in mainland Europe, they got those Orthodox churches and stuff like that. So people might grow up with icons, to grow up in them churches. You know, Turkey, mainland Europe, Romania, certain places and stuff like that. So a lot of your people in mainland Europe, they grow up with these icons, so they know a lot of these people see this their whole lives, man. And you mean to tell me these elites don't know? So we got the truth, and that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line, okay? So I'm gonna leave that one there, and I might do a follow up to this. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.